Hi, Diane.
Hello.
Hi,
How
Diane.
are you?
Hey, good. How
Hello.
are you?
I
Oh,
am
there we go.
fabulous. I am old and tired, but other than that, I'm good.
Same. Oh, are these new?
No, Chris is just using the little.
Oh,
Like automatically zooms in. Yeah.
what?
This is good.
We're off and running. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. Very exciting. All right. So, I'm looking at the wrong page. Okay. So we have a relatively short agenda today. So we'll just move through it and see what happens. We'll start by saying that today is the 26th of August. It's an Inclusivity meeting. We'll do attendance. I'll start, we'll go clockwise and then check in with folks online. So Amanda Polly,
Jessica Andrade,
Jane Sherwood,
Siderling, Rose Ricker,
Chris Workman.
Christopher McMorrin.
Diane Crocker. Sorry.
wonderful. All right. First item of business is the minutes for June 24th in the packet. I didn't see anything in there that they wanted to update. Or are we good to approve those? All right. I will take that as a let's move forward. We approve the minutes for June. Does anyone have any urgent business they want to bring up that is not on the agenda?
I can't see the agenda. Is Philomath Fellowship on the agenda?
No.
Cool. Philomath Fellowship is going to be having a meeting this Friday evening from 6 to 8. Essentially, as everybody knows, I am moving on and upward to Scappoose in the next couple weeks. And so this will be a conversation about longevity of the gathering and what it can look like going forward. I'll bring all my supplies and pass them off to somebody, probably Amanda, and then we'll go from there. So 6 to 8 at the museum this Friday, which is the
29th.
29th. Thank you.
No. At you leaving, not at the fellowship meeting.
Amanda Polly hates.
Let's all go on record.
Make a t-shirt.
Get a t-shirt. Yes, everybody should come. It's going to be very fun. Lots of good conversation and community building and just getting to know your neighbors and making connections.
I do think that this will be a little bit different because we're not going to have like the speaker in the beginning like we
Yeah,
usually do,
mostly
but
sort of-
mostly a conversation about the plan making.
My favorite kind of conversation.
Yeah.
Hopefully get down from Salem.
We'll see.
Anyone else have anything they want to bring up before we dive into things?
Philomath Citizens Academy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Information's on City of Philomath Facebook page and the website. I'm very excited about it. So everyone should, it starts next week, next Thursday. So
Yeah.
that's very exciting.
I did mine in 2020 online.
All right. So the first item of business is volunteer sign up for the farmers market. I know I talked to Jane after the meeting last month, and you said
either one.
either
Either.
morning or afternoon.
Yep.
It's this Sunday. So either people can split it up however they want. If they want to stay for the whole 4 hours, they can. But in the agenda, I suggested maybe a first half and a second half. I'm going to be out of town, so I cannot be there. But is anyone interested in,
I can be keeper of the keys and grounds of. We'll do setup and stuff, take down. I can be here the whole time,
Okay.
basically. And then people can come and go as they please. If they want to help
What
out.
time is the setup?
so the market starts at 11. Setup would usually start pretty close to,
At 45.
yeah, right around then. And then market starts at 11 and then it goes until 3.
And then we plan to have Inclusivity Committee flyers, Citizens Academy flyers. Is there anything else that we would like to have on hand to ask Crystal to print out? And Chris, do you have any suggestions of any of the stuff that we already have that would be great to put out through Inclusivity Committee /
The informational one on the Inclusivity Committee is good, and then just I keep it simple, I
Yeah.
think, I mean,
Maybe information about the seniors meetings. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you guys flyer that?
No, maybe we could whip up something.
I will ask Crystal to put something together for the A-frame that says like Philomath Inclusivity Committee as opposed to Philomath City Council with your guys' bugs on it, so.
Okay.
That would be great, thank you.
No, Diane.
Diane's hands up.
Yeah.
Hi, Diane.
I wanted to address that. I have the poster stuff on my computer at home and I will not be home until Saturday. So I am no good for that. But I can give you information is that it's on September 12th, I believe. It's the Tuesday at 10 o'clock at the library. And the topic this month is meet your city leaders. We have the police department chief and crew coming over to meet us. Then we have the fire department chief and crew coming over to meet us. And then we have the city hall crew coming to meet us. And the mayor.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we could probably have just like a talking point sheet that's just at the table so we can tell folks about that. Okay. So I have Jane, you're gonna be there the whole time, Jessica.
I can be there early too to help set up,
Okay.
That would be wonderful.
so pop me in early.
Okay. Okay. And then does anyone,
I can be there. I'm just not sure at what time.
you want to do the 1 to 3 since
Yes.
Jane will be there in the morning?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. And then if folks hop in or have time or whatnot. But that sounds great. Awesome. Thanks, y'all. Okay. Next item on our agenda is the senior event update. Diane, did you want to provide more information on that?
Yes. Yes. Our senior meeting, thanks to Brad Fuqua for writing the article in the Philomath News, we had about 8 more people attending this last month. And I've gotten phone calls from 3 people that said, they missed the meeting, but that they want to come in the future and they really need something like that. One lady called today. She's moved recently and she said, I feel very lonely. And I said, this is the place for you to come. But yeah, but wait till September 12th. Yeah. Anyway, so we are getting a very nice response. A lot of people have reached out to me with ideas for special speakers, and Jane is a dream to work with. And we put things together and it's great. October meeting is a tentative Medicare explanation. There are people out there that can teach you about Medicare. It does not cost you a penny to learn from them. and it really helps in these days and times. So, and I believe all of our members at this point are on Medicare, so that will be helpful.
Awesome.
Great job, you two. That's awesome, yeah.
It's so cool. It's so cool to see something that like people have put so much work into on sort of the backside just take off and become such a useful like community tool. That's very, very exciting.
One other thing, Jane and I have been talking, and we've been getting feedback from some of the seniors. They're pretty excited about this, and they would like to see more than once a month. They would like a once a month being a speaker with educational or pertinent information, and then they would like just to have some social time, play some board games or just talk to each other. So I'm hoping that we will be able to expand. I think we might need another person willing to be part of our team in order for that to happen. But I've had a couple of offers from people, and then they haven't actually followed through very well. So we will find somebody, and it will be great.
That's awesome. I don't know if it was on purpose, but the October one lines up with Medicare's open enrollment start.
Yes,
Is that on
it was on
purpose?
purpose. Yes, yes, yes,
Perfect.
yes.
And then that person adding someone to your sort of like planning group doesn't necessarily have to be someone on Inclusivity Committee. Like we could find a community partner or someone interested in the community that wants to help with this. So if anybody knows anybody, or if anyone is watching this after the fact and is interested, we can bring you into the.
I agree. I agree. I think it would be great if it was a senior, and it does not have to belong to any part of the city government necessarily. I think an energy and excitement for the purpose is what we want.
That's amazing. Does anyone else have anything they want to add about that, or any questions or comments?
I think it's great.
That's great.
Thanks for all your work.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is an update about our National Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month event. Jen had some information for me. She's not here, so she passed along some information. She has contact information for the folks who are interested and is reaching out to set up some either planning meetings or planning conversations. Jessica checked the calendar for when city council is going to be at farmers market, because we figured we might be able to kind of usurp that slot. October 12th is the only date that city council has a booth. Rich volunteered to sign up and very graciously, did I say October?
Or I was just saying like in October.
In October, yeah. And so Rich very graciously offered to give up his slot and then offered help if we need it from him, which is great. So thank you for that, Rich. So the tentative date for that event, however that shapes up, like a booth educational opportunity, will probably be October 12th. Brian and Janelle from the market are very excited about it, so we'll hopefully get something very cool going on with that. So,
Awesome.
yeah, moving right along. If people have questions, I'll try to answer them, but I don't know how much information exists.
I'll just say, I think I had offered to help out with that. I will be out of town on October 12th.
Okay.
So
But any help leading up to,
yes and no. I'm going to be out of town for a while leading up to,
Okay.
I get back October 13th.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
I promise I didn't plan that.
I will let Jen know. But it sounds like there's a handful of folks who are helping out, so. And then closer to the event, we can talk about what might be needed from us on the day, any volunteers sort of there to support and talk about things, but I think based on conversations we've had in the past, it was more, we're trying to facilitate a spot for other folks to do outreach and not do the outreach so much ourselves, but obviously be there as committee members and things like that. So.
Sounds great.
Cool.
We can have our hand raised.
No.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I'm just going to be gone that weekend as well. My father's birthday, and we go to Clear Lake as a family. So I will not be available to help, and I wish that I could, but I can't.
I'm also going to be in Clear Lake with Diane.
No, you're not.
So that leads us into our Hispanic Heritage Month banner review. In the packet, Diane has provided 2 options for the banner redesign from our previous banner.
Both really pretty.
Did you have anything you wanted to say about that, Diane, or just?
Our graphic artist did a wonderful job incorporating the new city logo and the new website at the bottom. And I had offered her 5 or 6 different designs, and these were the 2 that fit the best. And she has the eye. I do not. I am not an artist. So she had the eye, and she said these are by far the best 2 options that I gave her. So I have no strong tie to either one. I think they're both fine.
Christopher?
I love the blue one, but I feel like that black, I don't know, brown one, I just feel like will be easier to see as people
It pops more.
zip on by.
It's like the orange
Yeah,
circle.
yeah.
Agreed.
But maybe this is our way to get people to slow down on Applegate. Because they're like, oh, what does that mean? I gotta slow down and read this banner.
Yeah, they're great. Thank you. I think agreed on that. I wonder if the black font, like I know that there's orange helping to pop the black out to be able to like read it, but I wonder if white font for the words might be, no, maybe.
I just think in general, white on orange is like, ugh.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't think of, I don't know what my brain was thinking.
Redesigning the thing.
It like removed the orange somehow in my brain without, anyway.
Yeah, I think I really like that first one.
Cool.
It's also kind
If
of
I have your permission, if I've got your permission, I'll call the graphic artist and have her send it to the printer and get it done, usually within a week.
Perfect.
sounds great.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Lock
Great.
it in.
Yeah, the center of that one, it also reminds me of the paper.
Yeah.
What do you call it? The cutout paper.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like crepe paper, isn't it? Really thin.
All right. That's so productive.
Get out of here by 6.
And then the last thing on our agenda proper is just a little more discussion about the meeting that we had last month to give folks that weren't here a chance to share thoughts and weigh in. And so, yeah. Did you want to say something, Diane?
I do. I actually have a typed up thing because I wanted to be clear, I guess. Anyway, thank you for letting me make some comments because I was not there. I watched it like a week and a half or 2 weeks later. And it struck me pretty hardly, and so I wanted to address it. We are an inclusivity group, which by name means we include everyone. We each have our own interests, concerns, and things we would like to see the Inclusivity Committee focused on. That is the beauty of having a diverse membership. Not one person's issues, though, are more important than another's within the group, and we need to take time to listen to everyone. I would like to see us support one another, even if the issue does not line up with our own priorities. I have seen, because I've actually seen this in meetings, and I've been guilty of it myself, of partial listening, rolling eyes, and even an occasional laugh at somebody's expense at an inappropriate time, not laughing with them, but at them. I am a chronic eye roller, and my thoughts are always very easily read upon my face. So I understand how that happens, but then I also read it probably more astutely than not everybody might be looking for. I don't think this kind of reaction to someone else's ideas or thoughts belong in the Inclusivity Committee meetings. We should all work a little harder to prevent this from happening. Unbiased support is what we need. That said, I am of the opinion that the entire group does not need to work on every project. Find something you are passionate about and work to make our world better. Jane and I have found some success in this concept with the permission for the overall idea from the committee. We have worked hard to try to support our senior citizens. It is going well. I think if there are 2 or more people who would like to see a cause or issue worked on, they should run it by the committee and with permission, run it and do your best to make a difference. We're just kind of talking about that. The Hispanic heritage event would be best done by a small group of people, I think, passionate about it, but also it's easier to work with a small group of people and not have to run everything by the one meeting a month. With one meeting a month, I do not think it is feasible for us all to plan and approve every step. The Pride event is another example of this. The people who were most passionate about bringing this about worked very hard and made a difference. I've recently heard rumor that the Pride event is no longer part of the Inclusivity Project. This was a surprise to me, as we had updates and announcements regarding the Pride event at each of our inclusivity meetings leading up to the event in June. I would like eventually some clarity. It doesn't need to be right now, but on that, because I thought it was an inclusivity, and maybe it started that way and maybe it moved. I don't know, but it would be really great because we were up until June of this year getting updates and ask for help and all that stuff. And I thought that was part of the community of our Inclusivity Committee. We have a very big task in front of us. I do not think we will be able to eliminate all bias, hate, and discrimination, but I do believe we can make strides to improve the climate within our community. That must start with us. Please treat others with the same respect and kindness you yourself would like to experience. And I'm talking to myself too. This is a starting ground. Thank you for listening. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you. I second that motion.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I think it's worked out well with the times that we've done sort of the smaller group work outside of the committee, especially because, as you mentioned and as we've discussed in the past, just meeting once a month and hoping to kind of kick the ball down the road once a month is not necessarily
The way to get something done.
fruitful.
Yeah.
So I think that has been something that we've sort of developed in the committee that's worked out really well. And it does allow for sort of passion projects that we can then bring other people into. Does anyone have any thoughts?
Clarification on the Pride event history. I mean, we can go over that.
Yeah, sure.
It started as a question that was posed to the Inclusivity Committee in 2022 if a Pride event could happen. It was determined at that time that, because this was in May of 2020, no, April, sorry. So I was like, it's in June, there's not enough time. So I took it from then with the help of community members, made it happen 2022 and 2023. 2024, it officially was an inclusivity event. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It was not an inclusivity committee event.
Okay.
Clarify. Because we were talking about how with the funding situation and the whatchamacallit, the insurance
Right.
and stuff.
And that was why it wasn't an official inclusivity committee event this year.
No,
But
then as well. It
was a city-sponsored event.
Yeah, they donated stuff.
I guess that means the same thing to me.
Yeah,
It's
There is a lot of crossover, and I think it's a little gray for sure. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, do you want to?
Well,
Sorry
I
if
think more importantly, this year, the change was, this year, it was intended to be more of a standalone committee, standalone event. Inclusivity Committee seemed like a very appropriate place to provide updates, but the city didn't provide insurance. We did provide the space at no charge. But short of that, it was just donating the space for them to take place. The city itself wasn't involved outside of Inclusivity Committee getting updates, and members of the Inclusivity Committee also helping with the Pride Committee. But it was a separate effort, I would say, outside of, in addition to Inclusivity Committee.
yeah.
Not to open up a different can of worms, and hold with me through this analogy. Is everyone excited? No. I feel like it's you could make an analogy to the frolic with Pride, where the city owned the facility, a separate committee group organizes the event, puts on the event, handles the finances, handles the actual, administration and volunteers and planning. The city might provide, donated resources or something, but it's not a city of Philomath event. So I guess that's how I saw it.
I would also say sort of to not sort of directly to Diane's point, and this is actually something that I've mentioned and made notes on, is that especially me as someone who's on the Pride Planning Committee and chair of this committee, it's easy for me to add things to the agenda. If someone from the community had an event that they wanted us to seek volunteers for or sort of pitch as Inclusivity Committee adjacent, we would add that to the agenda. And so, but by me just putting it on there and being like, hey, we need Pride volunteers, or same thing with the fellowship, really, like the city's not really, the city isn't providing anything for fellowship, but we talk about it here because it's adjacent to this committee, but really they have nothing to do with each other. So maybe this is part of a conversation, and this is sort of alluding to something that I'll mention about upcoming meeting agendas, is as we're talking about rules of engagement in the committee, like, is there a protocol for those things? Like, if someone's doing a call for volunteers for an event, do we give them a one-off, like, hey, we're looking for volunteers for this event. If you have information, like if you're interested, reach out to us in the future, and then we don't talk about it again because it's not something we're facilitating. Like, are we more strict about, so that we have that separation, especially if there are so many people on the committee who are involved in an outside thing? I don't know, because I do feel like I see Diane's point. Like, if we're talking about it at every meeting, and there's overlap of members and there's a history of that event, then I can see how the lines get blurred there.
That's fine.
Yeah,
For sure.
I totally get it too, and I mean, I do think there's a lot to unpack with all of that. I also think it's sort of a symptom of any small town.
Yeah, that's true.
People are going to wear different hats at the same time. So I totally acknowledge, I think there's some blurry lines there, and I think, we could have made things clearer or handled that differently, but yeah, it's not the only time where we have dealt with something like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to send the message from the Inclusivity Committee that we're not going to put our full support, whatever that looks like, behind any event that is intended to be informational, educational, inclusive, community engagement, any of that. I think is all good for us to do, and I would want to make sure that any organization felt that they could come to us ask for volunteers from our membership or from, to help kind of promote those events, especially if it's very closely aligned to the mission that we have from the Inclusivity Committee. So there's a danger, I guess, in doing that, but I think it's really more just being clear on the onset. I mean, I wasn't involved in the Pride event at all. I know I was going to be gone that weekend and just hadn't been involved in other meeting stuff. But to me, it was very clear when you were given a report, it was a report of what that committee was working on and preparations and requests. But I wasn't very confused. I felt it was pretty clear. So I thought it was more than appropriate, in fact, to get those updates because there is so much overlap and effort there. I don't mind it at all. So maybe it's just as we're presenting, we just try to be a little extra clear. Although I think you did great. It's just maybe we needed to be even more clear. And to really circle back to last month, I think that just to be very pointed, I think Zena hadn't been to a couple of those meetings, and so maybe it wasn't as clear to her that things had shifted or changed a little bit from the previous year when it was a little bit more concerted effort. And so not being at those meetings, not having the report, I could see where if you don't hear that, then maybe there is more confusion about, is it inclusivity, is it not? So I think there's a little bit of fault there as well. I mean, I think it's just circumstantial, that's what happened. So, but yeah, we need to be supportive of inclusivity type events within the community. I think that's kind of a given, right?
Diane?
Yes. All that said, I just, again, want to give kudos to the committee that put this on. And I don't care if it's officially inclusivity meeting program or if it's something else completely. People came and they said, wow, Philomath has changed. Philomath is good. This is good for Philomath. So they talk about it as if it was a city event, and it made quite an impression. I have a very good friend that had a son that came out in the 90s in the high school and got treated horribly all the way around. It was brutal for him to even go to school. And I invited her to this event this year, and she was thrilled that Philomath has come this far, that this could happen here. When her son was here, he was ostracized and called names and pushed out of everything. It was awful. But we have made movement here in Philomath, and she associated with the city of Philomath simply because it's held in Philomath. But so that's a hard distinction, I think, no matter what. But still, good job, everybody. It was well done.
Thank you. Oh.
Maybe a little bit more of a reflection that should take place with our community members in the fellowship, because I'm listening to Chris, I was thinking about how the people that join here are kind of representing some community or belonging to, or the identity of, they have a personal interest in some of these inclusivity activities. And as a committee, I think that we should keep an eye on thinking about others and not only thinking about what we represent, but also close to the mission, kind of being aware of those who are not here, and work towards how that inclusivity would look like for others that are not represented in this room.
Yeah.
Just that.
Definitely. Thanks for that reminder.
What do you?
I was going to thank you, Diane, for sharing that very eloquently written ahead of time. Wish I would think that far ahead sometimes.
It's part of your charm. And that actually segues nicely. So we're at the end of the agenda. This is the point of the agenda where I would ask if folks have ideas for upcoming agendas or things they want to talk about. And I would like to pitch sort of a long-term plan. So typically November and December, at least since I've been here, we haven't held meetings just because the end of November and December are pretty holiday heavy and folks are in and out and we're not sure if we have quorum and all of that. So just for ease of scheduling, we, unless we have something major to talk about, just plan on not having meetings on those months. And so I'm thinking sort of based on the meeting we had last month and this conversation that maybe in September, we just spend the majority of the meeting working on what we think our community engagement looks like what our kind of rules of engagement are. If we have a disagreement in the group, like just, you know, your general sort of, this is how our statement of how we're going to treat people and how we want to be treated and what our intention is in the community and in this room and to the folks online watching, and like spend some time. Jessica and Jane and other folks have been working, Rose, just on these over the course of time. So we have the framework in place. And so we can bring that to next month's meeting and just sort of do the work in the room to finalize what we think that looks like. And then in October, that would be the next month, we look at the inclusivity calendar and think about what we want to do next year, what our goals are, what like heritage months or specific groups we want to, you know, highlight or bring attention to and work with. If we have any events we want to do, how do we do new things while also continuing to celebrate all of the things we've been celebrating and build on all of the work we've already done. So that's kind of my thought. If folks feel like that is a good use of our time.
Yeah, good plan.
Cool. So that's, I mean, we can still do a, you know, announcements and short sort of things at the beginning of the meetings as we have those, but we can kind of just plan to have some working meetings.
So, well, so we're still meeting September, October, though.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. And I assume, like, not that I wouldn't want to do those online, but like, I don't know if people want to tune in and watch us have conversations about a Google Doc or whatever, but those still have to be public meetings, yeah. It'll just be really ASMR meetings.
Bring your laptops.
Although, I don't know how this works for committee. Like, can we do a committee work session? And then does it, like, do
Not
we
that
have?
different than a committee meeting.
Right. I just mean, does everything have to be live streamed and everything? Or like, can we just take a minute?
The council's direction is that they be live streamed,
Okay.
but can ask the city council if we could have a work session, then not have to worry about live streaming it.
Okay. Like, is there any state law?
No.
Okay. Okay.
It just has to be accessible.
Yeah, I mean, not that I want to like hide anything.
Well, no, I'm mostly just thinking, because like, if we're just planning on sitting here and
Right.
any documents that we come up with would be publicly available and we
Right.
would discuss them later, but I'm kind of thinking about like staff, like it would be, to have you here to take meetings or run the Zoom for, does Diane you have a comment?
Yes, I love the idea of a work session, and especially if we're skipping November and December, which you're right, we typically have. Maybe September and even October, we could plan on a little bit longer meeting, have like the first 45 minutes be a work session, and then not make any final decisions, and then have our meeting right afterwards that would be streamed and official. I don't know how we set that up properly, but I'm sure somebody there does. So that's just an idea.
Yeah, okay, so I think the expectations in a work session would be that the difference is in a work session, you wouldn't have opportunity for like public comment, public engagement, visitors. It would really be more just that you're essentially notifying the public that we're getting together to work and work with each other, but we're not really having a meeting like engage with the public and have conversation. We're just got a project we got to work on. So if you notified it that way, we've got a few people on the city council. They could talk to the city council about, hey, how's the council feel about a work session of the Inclusivity Committee or any other that committee for that matter, not having to be, trying to do it via Zoom, which is just to vote camera and everything else. And not having to worry about having public comment. If we allow for public comment, you have to allow for it virtually. Yeah. That's the only real kind of newer-ish state law. But if you're not providing public comment for anybody, then you don't have to do the Zoom and you don't have to do all that. We would still record it for minutes, but we wouldn't have to do the same thing. So that would be the distinction. Otherwise, you just still have public comments on there. You call it a meeting and we just take part of the meeting to work together on a document, and it doesn't change a whole lot.
Also, as you guys are looking forward, I'm sure it's not going to be a surprise to anybody, but I'll be hitting send on a resignation email tomorrow. So you guys will need to find a new member.
So all of our loyal viewers, if you
Hey, now's your chance.
next month you could get in on the
Daryl, we're looking at
ground
you.
floor.
Can't we deny that request?
The council's going to vote it down.
Yeah.
They'll force you to stay.
PO box and then attended from school.
Isn't it just an extended vacation inside?
Have a life up there.
Sabbatical.
Isn't the legal definition of your residence like where you tend to make your permanent? So I just right. Like I was a Philomath resident when I was going to college. So this is the same thing for you.
Get some politicians in trouble.
I intended for that. I got a great house in this other state. I intended to be. Right.
Intent works there.
But yeah, to that point, practically speaking, the quorum will still be 5. So we'll still need to have 5 people for a meeting until we get someone onto the, we still will need to regardless. And then I was going to ask if there was anyone, I don't know if you want to pick up conversations again about the community, like rules of engagement, no pressure either way, but like if anyone wanted to talk about it before the next meeting, let me know and we can meet up or something. Or if you have specific, like, hey, we need to make sure that we, account for this aspect in our agreements, you can send an email.
Because you're working on the agreements, you've been working.
Can I just really quick to Rose's resignation? Does the committee have a preference? Like, do we want the council to fill that now, or because we always fill new committees in January? So we could just given that we're not going to meet a
I
ton
think
the
it
rest of the
makes
year.
sense to just do it in January.
Okay, I mean, because we can put it on the council agenda for September and try to open it up, but like, if we're already going to be doing the big one in January, we might as
Do the
well
park
just-
advisory.
Right, yes. Yeah. So that's why I'm just asking, like, do you have strong feeling? I mean, since we also just discussed not meeting for 2 months.
I mean, in theory, we only have 2 more meetings
Right.
left in the year, and 2
Because-
of them are going to be,
I guess that's kind of what is like, if
Yeah.
we don't open the recruitment until the city council meeting in September, and then we'd probably close it in October.
Right.
In time for no meeting in November and
yeah.
December. We might
So it just makes sense to do it in January. Gives us the lobby to get really cool people to join. Okay, so then we'll plan for September to be a working meeting, whether or not that's a public meeting or a work session
Yeah, I mean,
to be determined, but I mean, it doesn't really matter either way. We're gonna have the same conversation and the outcome will be the same. So like if it sounds like there are hurdles to make it a work session, in which case I don't really know, unless it's something where like I can run the Zoom and staff doesn't have to be here if it's a work session, in which case that does sound like it might be a benefit for you. So
I'd probably come anyway,
fair. So
because I'm interested. in
yeah,
what we're
well, and
doing.
you have historical knowledge. So,
Contribute something as
Yeah.
well, if you so chose.
okay, so all that said, if folks have stuff that they want to announce or talk about briefly at next month's meeting, you can still send that to me by email or text or however. And we can get that in the sort of announcements piece of the agenda. Otherwise, we'll still send out a packet with the documents that Jessica's been working on and sort of our intent so that we'll still get a packet of some kind for September, but that will be our plan. Unless
Good.
unless anyone has any other stuff they want to talk about. Oh, Diane.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.